Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. It's now time to discuss the latest with Opendoor making a monumental move to the upside today. We're up over 60% on the session. Joining us now is George Tsilis, senior markets correspondent for the network. So, George, I have to say that naturally I do associate this name with being a meme stock, although carrying around just over 20% short interest actually isn't as high as I would have guessed. So I'm curious your thoughts on the story, but also then at the same time, is this a short squeeze?
Yeah, this is a fun one. I think contextually, let's talk about what's happening here. And so traditionally, Opendoor was essentially an iBuyer of homes, where they would take on debt and issue equity and use those proceeds to buy homes from sellers, of course, and then resell them to other buyers. And that was essentially their business model. And Zillow actually moved in that same capacity as well, but they actually backed away from that because we know that the housing market really has peaked. And it's a challenging thing to carry a lot of inventory. That's a very asset-heavy business strategy or business model. And I think if you look at Opendoor, they're trying to move away from that iBuyer asset-heavy business model into an asset-light business model, which is more of an agent-driven kind of model, much like Redfin, which, again, we've talked about as being purchased by Quicken Group, if you will, and Quicken Loans. So, again, this is the business model that they are actually moving into. And with this business model change, there is some activity going on, obviously, from an investment standpoint, which is compelling. First off, if you look at the price action year to date, it's higher by about 500%. It's made a remarkable move. It's making a tremendous move today because of the fact that it's gotten this sort of meme status associated with it. And that's fine. The short interest is quite high, so a lot of the shorts are getting squeezed in this name. And there's always a catalyst that is creating this sort of second and third wave that we've seen higher. Today's catalyst is that the company's hired a new CEO. It looks like the two co-founders are actually now being brought back on as on the board of directors. So I think the other thing about this story is underneath it is the aspects now of the rental business. This is what I think is going on. Because if you look at what's happened in the rental space, companies like VRBO, which is owned by Expedia, Airbnb, Opendoor may end up moving in that direction to start competing with that market of essentially short-term and long-term rentals. That's a possibility as well in terms of perhaps why there's a lot of interest in the stock. Obviously, there's a meme status that's creating high interest. Obviously, there's a high short interest, which is causing the price action to move higher and sort of this squeeze because the options are traded on the stock, and so it creates a gamma squeeze. But I think there's a fundamental shift story happening here, which, again, may have long-term value behind the scenes. But nonetheless, you have to consider aggressive price action and the manifestation of sales and earnings. Sales are actually expected to go down next year compared to last year. That's also to be expected because if the company's pivoting away from its core business strategy of iBuying market, in other words, buying and reselling homes, their sales should go down. But this is a transformative story. And it's also a story where maybe meme investors, meme traders have thrown this company a lifeline. Very well capitalized now. Considering market capitalization as of yesterday was around $4.3 billion. It's obviously a lot higher today. Losses last year were around $300 million. The company's never made a profit, so I think it's important to keep that in mind. But the company's raising cash. They have $800 million in cash, and the need for debt will probably go down if they move out of this iBuying, home buying market. That was their old business strategy. So kind of a mixed bag here. I can see the compelling story shift here in this name, but I could also make the case that, is this compelling shift of the story in the business merit the price action we've seen, which has been tremendous off the lows from earlier this year.
Yeah, George, for my accounting friends out there, the quick ratio, the current ratio is not really all that alarming. They certainly were a couple years ago for this company, but some of the capitalization you're talking about has certainly changed that. Real estate's a heavily indebted market. So, I mean, that kind of comes with the area that they're in. But if they're rotating out of that, I'd imagine these things only improve. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to how you change your business model. And the business model they were in was not good, for lack of a better word, because, carrying this existing inventory and trying to resell at high interest rates, that's a bad business strategy in the bad time, for lack of a better word. So So essentially, this pivot away from that traditional business model of carrying inventory and the risk of carrying that inventory and the capital needs of carrying that inventory will go down over time. But the question is what are they going to do next? How are they going to capitalize on this, take advantage of this this capital infusion that the traders have given the company? And I suggest there may be something there, and I can't say for sure if they start to pivot into the areas of leasing, creating a network like Airbnb and VRBO, which again is owned by Expedia. I think that's also a possibility, and maybe that's very value creative going forward. So this is, again, a situation where, prices are moving fast to the upside, but they can also retrace quite quickly to the downside, so you have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, and I wonder, too, George, if they'll issue some equity. I mean, this stock has made a lot of ground in some of its weakness, but like you said, they're well capitalized, so not necessarily a huge need for that just yet. George Tsilis, we've got to leave it there. One to watch for sure, Opendoor Technology.